Hello guys, how you doing? Today I'm gonna talk a bit about Legacy. So first I will give some info about Legacy, then I will give my personal pros and cons on Legacy, and last I will talk a bit about Legacy PvP and Legacy PvM. So for those of you who don't know, Legacy is a pre-EOC combat system. Abilities will be removed and replaced with special attacks again. You will hit 100s and 300s and 500s instead of 5000s like it is in Evolution of Combat. Also, Legacy will have the old interface system, not the one in RS3 where basically your whole screen is filled with interfaces. Legacy will also include the old combat calculation with a maximum level of 138. It will not be the same as pre-EOC, since melee was a bit overpowered there. It will be tweaked a bit. And one thing I really like, but I kinda managed to adapt myself to it, is you won't need to press enter to chat in legacy modes. And when legacy is released, you will be given the option to also don't need to press the enter button in RS3. However, it won't be entirely pre-EOC. It will also include dual wielding, a balanced combat triangle, and the new protection prayer system, which means you get 50% protection in PvM and 25% protection in PvP. Also, they said they would bring PvP XP back with Legacy, but it seems they wanted to introduce it before Legacy came into the game, so it now already is in the game. The Legacy experience won't be optimal, it will be somewhere near Revolution, and I get that, since in RS3 you will have to spam so much abilities. It is understandable you will get a bit more experience, but the difference shouldn't be that much. Also, there are some speculations of some things that might be added into Legacy. They might add a option to revert your stats, so pures who trained their defense in RS3, since it's useful there, will be given the option to revert it, so they can be level 1 defense pures again. And also for pures, they aren't able to wear some gear in RS3, which they were pre-EOC, so they might revert that, so the defense requirements are same as pre-EOC. So now I'm gonna talk a bit about the pros and cons of Legacy mode. First up are the pros. In Legacy mode will offer a more AFK way of training. Currently AFKing in RuneScape 3 is almost impossible. Only at certain places you will be able to train AFK, such as bandits. Then secondly, in Legacy you will be able to use stuff otherwise you wouldn't be able to use, such as familiar specials or dreadnips. And you might think dreadnips are useless anyways, but recently they have been given a buff, so they are a bit more useful. Then third, in Legacy mode, prayer switching will be easier too, and this is very good to use in fight caves and tormented demons. And fourth, and I like this so much, in Legacy mode your screen isn't clogged up with all the options you have in RS3, and I like having those options, but when I don't need them I also don't want them to clog up my screen. And finally, hopefully Legacy will bring back a lot of people to RS3 again, and some say it won't make any difference, but I saw the power to the player poll and reactions to Legacy were very good. And now cons. Legacy might drain a lot of the population of 07scape, and it would be terrible to see 07 die just because of Legacy. But 07 will still remain a lot different to me, and yeah, it won't replace Legacy to me. I play both versions of the game. Personally, I don't think this will happen because most 07 players are really hardcore 07scapers, which won't easily be satisfied with what Jagex will come up with. And that's perfectly fine since I don't want 07 to die. So now Legacy PvP. PvP and Legacy will be something special since Legacy and EOC players will be able to attack each other. Some players say EOC will have a great advantage, and they're probably right, but Jagex does have some kind of solution for that. They will introduce legacy only worlds, so people who want to fight only legacy players can come there to PK. And now Legacy PVM. Legacy will be very good for PVM too, since certain bosses really aren't fit for RS3. For example, Revenants, since every time you hit them they get healed. In RS3 you use so much abilities they get healed all the time. And if you bring a slow weapon to Legacy and you fight them, they will barely heal and you will still hit them very hard. Also, Revenant gear will not be useless in Legacy, since they will get a PvP boost. And yeah, it's not only in Legacy, it's also in RS3. Then the second example, Tormented Demons. You need to switch prayers, weapons, and possibly even ability bars and armor if you want to solo there. And that while you still have to use abilities on them. And in Legacy, it obviously won't be that hard since you won't have to spam abilities. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned a lot about Legacy. And one last quick tip, buy an Armadyl Godsword. It seems to be really overpowered in there. And I know that since some people already could test out the Legacy beta at Jagex and they said it. So see you next time.